Hello. Couldn't get into Oppenheimer tonight, huh? That's Chris Ryan. That's Sean Fennessy. I'm Bill Simmons. We are going to do A Few Good Men. You guys know we're doing that for the movie, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You announced it before him.
Yeah. I don't know, I'm old. I can't remember what I did 5 minutes ago.
Are we not doing Barbie?
So the first rewatchable we ever did that was a non-sports film was A Few Good Men, which me and Chris Ryan and Amanda Dobbins did August 10th, 2017.
Yeah.
Which feels like 20 years ago.
It sure does, yeah.
I think we only had like 4 categories. The pod was how long, like an hour?
Yeah, it's like 50 minutes, but we also spent like a long time explaining the rewatchables.
And we didn't invite Sean, and he was mad for like 2 months because he loved that movie.
True.
Yeah, no, you were. It was bad. It was problems in the locker room.
Was I podcasting in 2017?
You might not have been.
I don't think I was.
Yeah. So we started with Heat, which was, December 2015. And we did that for my podcast. And I just emailed CR one day and I said, Heat's 20th anniversary. Should we just do a whole Heat podcast? And CR's like, when, where? Let's do it. And
had to get it on. Yeah.
And we did it. We put it out into the world and had no idea if anyone was going to like it. I remember feeling the most ambivalent about that pod of probably any pod I did for the first 8 years.
It was one for us.
Anyone going to listen to this? Yeah.
Yeah.
And people were like, Heat, that was awesome, man. That was really good. So
it's always really cool guys coming up to you on the street, be like, hey, brother, heard the 3 Heat with Man.
Yeah.
You got to the bottom of it, finally.
All right, so A Few Good Men. This is A Few More Good Men? The Re-Few Good Men? What are we calling
The
this?
Re-Good Men, yeah.
The Re-Good Men?
Yeah.
What do you guys think? The Few More Good Men? Few More Good Men, okay.
You guys have thought about this, huh?
All right. Sean Fennessy, is this the single most famous courtroom movie? He hates when I ask him questions he doesn't know that I didn't tip off.
The single most famous courtroom movie?
Yeah.
No.
What is?
What is it?
12 Angry Men is a more famous
Come on, man.
movie.
Nobody says 12 Angry Men.
You think we get...
You Philistines can fuck off.
Are we selling out the El Rey for 12 Angry Men? I don't know.
For the purposes of this conversation and the rewatchables, this is my favorite courtroom movie.
CR?
Yeah, it's my favorite courtroom movie, for sure. Yeah, there's no courtroom in Cruising, so it has to be this.
Does Heat 2 have a courtroom?
No, actually, it doesn't. It's all in Panama.
To read it.
Yeah.
When we did this the first time with Amanda, she called it a verbal action movie, which I thought was brilliant. And I was thinking, like Social Network's probably in the pantheon for
Same author.
Good Will Hunting. What are the other verbal action movies?
I mean, almost every courtroom movie is a verbal action movie, is it not? Men making arguments to each other?
Glengarry. A lot of the playwright, when you get a theatrical production transferred to the big screen, I think you could call that a verbal action movie.
Heat's a verbal action movie and an action movie.
That's why
we love that.
So important to us.
Why are you so interested in what I do and what I live, lady?
What would you say Black Hat is?
That's actually just like a journey to the center of the soul. Yeah.
Yeah.
By hacking.
So one thing about this movie, which came out 30 years ago, December 1992, it was a basic cable movie and a pay cable movie where you really couldn't tell the difference. They cut out like a couple swear words on TNT, but for the most part, exactly the same, right? It's not like you're losing anything on TNT.
Well, you lose like
movie.
who the fuck is William? You know, like you lose some of the...
You lose like 4 F-bombs and a couple slurs that, probably not a bad thing anyway. This also spanned the Blockbuster era to the Netflix era. This did VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, and streaming. So it
You don't usually read the formats.
Well, it's amazing this movie's been around so long. It's basically done everything Laserdisc. I guess it missed Laserdisc.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Betamax?
They put it on beta? Yeah.
Yeah.
So did it feel dated to you when you watched it this
Not
time?
at all. Not at all. I think partially because of the runtime, it still feels so like quick and fast, and there are some pee breaks and stuff, but like I do think for the most part it's just blazing, and then you get that last half hour where you're just mesmerized.
Do you guys feel like it was dated? Yeah, that's the right answer. Sean?
Not at all. No.
Yeah.
I love this movie.
One thing I love, we've been doing Courtroom Month, and this movie's basically a puzzle, right? We have hotshot Daniel Caffey. Cruz really exploring the studio space for the first time, playing a young hotshot with a chip on his shoulder who can't...
Little twist for him.
Yeah. Who's got a dead dad in his background, and he's just never done this before. And he's got to put together a puzzle that we're just getting the pieces. And so all these different court movies we've done, this is the most fun, I think, for how they set it up. Where it's like, we'll give you this one. What does that mean? Then it goes here, and then it just keeps going, keeps going, keeps going.
Yeah, I think that there's another part of this that's just like, it's actually not that much of a mystery. I mean, it's very obvious who's committed the crime from the beginning. It's almost like Columbo in that way. It's like Jessup ordered the code red. So you know that in the 15th or 20th minute or whenever they first go to Cuba. And then the whole part is just like, how is he going to get him to how is he going to realize this? How is he going to reveal this? And when he realizes he can play on Jessup's hubris and his pride and his like sense of like his own importance, that's the best part.
I think he knows what's happening the whole time, Caffey. I think he's trying to find the way to win the case, but he actually knows the first time he sits down with Jessup, he's got a pretty good handle on what happened. As soon as he sees what kind of a character he is and how he responds to Joe's question about the code red, it's clear early on, and we're supposed to know, but we don't want to accept that the case has been solved for us, and this will come up. Roger Ebert noted this too.
Yeah.
And whether or not we think that's a good thing, that we basically know what happened in this story all the way through, it still leads up to probably one of the most thrilling final 15 minutes we've ever seen in a movie.
But most of the courtroom movies we've done we already know the truth. It's about getting to it, right? Like only Primal Fear is the reverse.
And we're in Washington, D.C., which, as you know, is one of my favorite movie locations. Every time I go to Washington, D.C., I always feel like I'm in a movie. Like, you see the monument, you think about things that happen. Let's talk Cruz.
Have you considered running for office?
Let's talk Cruz.
Yeah?
Sean, is this the best Cruz performance of all time?
No.
Is this it? Have we peaked with Cruz right here?
I think it's his best movie star performance, which is relevant to an ongoing debate that we have been having.
We're doing
on
this
show.
now?
We don't have to do it.
I had it saved for later.
I don't think it's his best acting. I do think it's his most
Do you have a best
mesmerizing.
acting job in mind of what Cruz's best acting is? Is Born on the 4th of July?
I think Born on the 4th of July, Magnolia are probably Jerry Maguire. Jerry Maguire is the fusion of the movie star Cruz and the great acting Cruz.
Cocktail, yeah.
Not Cocktail, yeah.
It's amazing in Cocktail. You guys laugh.
You guys see Dead Reckoning?
What about for you, Chris Ryan?
I think Oblivion is his best work. Yeah.
I think it's the cruisiest Cruz performance. That's where I landed.
What do you mean by that?
He's just completely over the top in all the ways that I love about
You think
Tom
it's this
Cruise.
or Maguire?
Maguire, he's more in control than
Is he
Maguire.
more recognizably human in A Few Good Men or Jerry Maguire?
He's just a maniac in this movie from the
neither.
moment it starts. He's hitting softball line drives 140 miles an hour. and somebody comes over and he's just got the sarcasm button on and he's just throwing one-liners.
I love all that stuff where it's like anyone else, they're just like, how about you shut the fuck up, Caffey? Like, it's just like, he's just like drilling guys.
I know the law! Relax, Tom.
I think this and Cocktail are the two where he just goes for it the most. But I think by the mid-90s, he starts bringing it back a little bit. When he's in Maguire, he's in Eyes Wide Shut,
It's relatable.
Magnolia, even Vanilla Sky, which I kind of dig.
He's scouting it.
Yeah, I've been scouting Vanilla Sky lately. I don't know what the fuck happens in that movie, unfortunately. I still can't tell you, but I like it. So he's doing the arrogant, sarcastic, cocky swagger guy. He's doing the magnetic guy. He's doing the chip on his shoulder guy. And as always with Cruise, he just has people around him who are just there to serve Tom Cruise and to just make him feel better about coming through in the last 30 minutes.
It's like me with CR. I'm his Joe Galloway.
CR, who could have played Daniel Kaffee in the last 35 years other than Cruise?
In
I
the
have one
last
person
30
that I think could have done it.
Are you asking me to think of more contemporary actors or just like
I'm saying from 92 on, who else could have done it? Because like to me, Hank, this isn't a Hank's part.
Yeah. Issa Rae.
Downey?
Downey, interesting.
Is he too old by 92?
What year Downey?
Well, I mean, you'd like to get him after U.S. Marshals, like kind of on the...
Like that?
Yeah, on
Like
the
Downey when he's
upswing.
off the rails a little
Yeah.
bit, Downey?
1992 is the year of Chaplin. Academy Award nominated.
Yeah.
I had like mid-90s Damon, like somewhere in the Good Will Hunting round.
He's got to be a little bit older. Caffey's supposed to be in his late 20s, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know lawyers could be that young. Like, you ever get a young lawyer? Like,
Yeah.
really young lawyer?
Like a 14-year-old lawyer?
No, but like he's like out of college, out of law school, into the Navy, about to go to private practice. It just feels like it's a really accelerated education.
And then within 5 minutes, he's got the head of national security.
Yeah,
on
and
the
he's just
stand
like, I got him in
going
a
at
fucking
him.
vice. This
He's like
guy's
28.
dead. Yeah.
This was the cruise run of Top Gun, The Cocktail to Rain Man, Days of Thunder, A Few Good Men. Far and Away is in there, Born on the 4th of July. But for the most part, he basically plays the same guy 5 times.
Yeah.
If you could tell me any difference between Daniel Kaffee and Maverick and Young Flanagan and Cocktail, whatever the Rain Man guy's name was, and Cole Trickle, they're all the
Cole
same
Trickle's
guy.
Days of Thunder, yeah.
Steve Rainman, that was his name.
Steve Rain.
Yeah.
So you don't think best cruise performance?
I think he's electrifying in the movie, and I have a lot of takes about that. I'm sure we'll get to it. I just think Born on the 4th of July is like a different kind of performance.
And all of those movies are basically defined by the fact that it's like Cruise trying to overcome his youth and his exuberance, and he's usually got like an older father figure in it. And in this, it's like the best one he ever gets.
Yeah.
This one is a little different, though, where I feel like he is sarcastic and cocky and a hot shot, but also the smartest guy in the room.
Well, they definitely tell him that all the time. They're just like, he's
Right.
like an okay lawyer who seems to please a lot of stuff out, and they're just like, you're the best lawyer I've ever seen. Your Supreme Court father lawyer would have no business going against you.
Well, he's also, how long are we with Kaffee in this movie? Like 6 months?
Oh, how long is the trial?
I thought
4
shorter
months?
than that.
Yeah, I thought the JAG Corps, they moved through it. They speed it up.
Not a girl to be seen for Kaffee in this. That's the one thing.
Well, he's
that
got his
jumped out.
softball going, you know?
Oh, he's
Yeah.
getting thrown in the trial.
In season.
I don't know. Joe comes over that one time. She's batting his
We'll get to that.
her eyelashes.
He's got to watch the...
Nonplussed. This guy, he's like, there's an Orioles game on.
I was
Joe,
going to say
sorry.
Twins O's.
Jack Nicholson in 1992 was our most famous actor.
Yes.
Correct.
Over Pacino, over De Niro, over anybody. And I remember I had graduated from college at this point. I was living in Boston. The fact that he was in a movie with Cruise was a huge deal. It was like, oh my God, this is happening. And they were using like the Hannibal Lecter Hopkins. Like he's not in the movie that much, but when he's in, it's important. What else do you remember, Chris, about it?
I remember early on that there was like in Premiere Magazine, and the word on the street was that like there is a big scene in this movie. There is the that you kind of knew you would get a little bit of a taste of Nicholson, but they were saving him for Game 7. Like they were going to bring him in, and it was going to blow your mind when you find out. Because the play was around, and people, I think this was like a hot script.
Yeah.
There's more of him in this movie than I remember.
Yeah.
You know, when you revisit the movie, he has 3 significant sequences,
I don't
not
think
just
he's
the one.
Deion Waiters eligible. He's in it
No,
a
he's
lot.
not.
Too much in
It's
it.
like
He's
over
not.
30 minutes. Yeah. Sorry, Jack Nicholson. You have to settle for your 12 Oscar nominations. This was his 10th Oscar nomination.
Did
So
you
he-
look at his 80 to 92? I know you love runs. Have you looked at that run?
Well, he moves into this weird.
He does. He loves runs.
It was like, did you go check out that vintage car? You know, like,
Yeah.
did you go check
Well,
out that Porsche on the lot?
Obviously, I did see her. He moved into this emeritus role.
Yeah.
Like he's in Broadcast News in '87. He leads in Ironweed. He's in Batman. He's got the big, over the top.
When are we doing Ironweed?
For never. Two Jakes, disappointing. Man Trouble, disappointing. He kind of needed A Few Good Men. Like by 92.
I don't think he like needed it.
Well, he was
He was like sitting courtside at the Lakers game. Everybody's like, "You're amazing." Like,
Lakers were done at this point. And then he follows this up with Hoffa and Wolf, which is one of the worst movies of the last 30 years.
Sick
it is
movie.
An abomination.
No, it's awesome. Him and James Spader are werewolves.
That is
It's fucking awesome.
If you guys want to drop some gummies and watch Wolf some night, you're gonna enjoy it. This was his 10th Oscar nomination. 12 in all. Twice as many as Amy Adams.
Yeah. Maybe she'll catch him one day.
that would be amazing. If Amy Adams had like a Players Tribune
like, "I'm 6
letter,
away."
it's like, "I'm chasing that ghost, sitting courtside for the Lakers. Just gonna keep cranking them out until I get there."
So they do this
She's
speech.
playing like fucking Oppenheimer and Oppenheimer 2.
Is she an Oppenheimer?
She's not.
Okay. So the speech, Rob Reiner has this story, and some of you probably heard it, but he figured they would shoot the Jack speech at the end and they would use a stand-in for when they cut to the cruise. They filmed the cruise part. They filmed the shot of like Demi Moore and Pollock. They showed the jury. So they got to film like 8 versions of it. And Jack insists on doing his speech every time and does it perfectly. And Reiner starts getting worried that he's going to run out of gas. And he's like, "Do you want to save a little bit for when we've got the camera on you?" And Jack replies, "Rob, you don't understand. I love to act."
Yeah. This is like when you get mad if I do an episode of The Watch earlier in the day before Rewatchables. And you're like, "I don't want you all used up."
Well, there was one time I caught you in the 3rd pod. I was like bummed out.
Yeah.
It's like,
Save your
CR, you look
seed,
okay.
CR.
And he said every time it was just a home run, and apparently everyone on the set was like, "Holy shit, Jack Nicholson day." It's like a famous day for it.
Kevin Bacon and Kiefer Sutherland were both like, "Oh, that's what it means to be a movie star.
Right.
That's what it means to really give a shit."
We'll get into later who won the scene, which I can't wait to discuss. This cast: Cruise, Nicholson, Demi Moore, Kevin Bacon, Kevin Pollak, J.T. Walsh, Kiefer Sutherland. Our first glimpse of evil Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah. Well, he's not that great in Lost Boys.
Boys, yeah.
I guess
Or
he was
Stand By
evil in
Me.
Stand By Me. Yeah. I guess always evil,
Yeah.
Kiefer Sutherland. Cuba Gooding, Noah Wiley, and Chris Guest. This was based on Sorkin's 1989 play, directed by Rob Reiner.
The play is cool. You can see like a preview of it. Like you got to download it or whatever. But it is actually really entertaining to see like all the stuff from the script in different ways in the play.
A little different, too.
Yeah.
A little different from the movie.
The background on Sorkin: bartender, and his sister was a U.S. Navy JAG and was defending a group of Marines who had nearly killed a fellow Marine in a hazing. He's like, So he starts writing the play on cocktail napkins. He's bartending at the Palace Theater on Broadway. This is probably the best. This is a way better bartender story than mine. And then writes the play, finishes it, sells the film rights, and the rest is history. There's a little William Goldman catch with this, though. Our guy William Goldman
Did it pass?
did it pass and came up with the idea for the flight logs, and was like, "What if he makes the flight disappear?" Which, when you watch the movie, it's like a huge part of the movie. And Sorkin loved it and put it in the play retroactively. Did you know that story?
Yeah, but I thought that Goldman's big note was that the flight logs would not show that they had erased the flight, that there was no evidence. You know,
Yeah,
like
that's what it was.
the airmen
Yeah.
and everything. Like in the play, it's very different. In the play, there is a smoking gun, but in the movie, there is no smoking gun. Caffey is just such a brilliant interrogator.
Yeah.
That he gets it out of Jessup.
Goldman, great notes. He was the one that told the Good Will Hunting guys, dump the whole second half of the script. They go on the run from the CIA.
Yeah.
He's like, dump the second part. And they're like, "Okay, William Goldman." And then the rest was history. Sorkin, this is the first movie he's ever done.
Not bad.
Solid start.
Yeah.
Does Malice, which Chris and I love. American President 95, and he's off.
You guys ever see Malice?
Malice is batshit.
How did I get cut out of the Malice
We did-
Appreciation Society?
It's happening right now. We
Which
just
one of
formed.
the three of us is the biggest Sorkin fan?
Well, Amanda Dobbins is
I'm
the
probably
biggest
third.
Sorkin
Yeah.
fan. I'm really big.
Sean likes reenacting the scene from the newsroom where Don informs everybody that they killed Bin Laden. He does that on every flight.
I'm actually flying on Tuesday.
He's like, I'd
and
like to
I'm
be the first to
preparing.
inform you.
Yeah. I loved the newsroom. That's a true story. I was working at Grantland and wrote a whole piece about how much I loved the newsroom.
But you don't like Westbrook. It's just like,
Some can cook and some cannot.
You'd only been with us for like a year, and I got to be honest, I was like, this Sean.
It's pretty
likes
weird.
The newsroom.
Yeah.
This is weird. What's up with this guy? He's a Jets fan and he loves the newsroom.
I am what I am.
10 years later, we're still together. He doesn't get nominated for this, though.
That's crazy.
Neither does Rob Reiner. But Best Picture, Nicholson, Film Editing, Sound, doesn't win anything. Rob Reiner is on a heater at this point. He's in The Princess Bride, When Harry Met Sally, Misery. Started Castle Rock, which created Seinfeld, which printed billions of dollars. And this was his only film that got to 100 million in box office. Where do you stand on him as a director 30 years later, looking at the library?
He's made some of my favorite movies of all time, and he has absolutely no distinguishable style whatsoever. There is not a single thing he does as a filmmaker.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's a Rob Reiner shot right there.
classic Reiner. Just close
he
up
shoots
on the main
movie
actor.
stars.
Yeah.
He's very good
He's
at
here
pointing
tonight.
the
Let's
camera.
hear him out.
Rob, love your work. Thank you for your contributions. No, I mean, but he's an old school kind of guy. Obviously, a Hollywood family. Carl Reiner's his father. He's on All in the Family, but he just is the ultimate relationships person, right? Like everybody wants to work with him. His sets are a lot of fun, and he had great taste in scripts for 10 years.
He was a big TV star in the 70s and All in the Family, and I think when you've been a star, you know how to deal with the stars a tiny bit better. Kind of like Chris.
Yeah.
Best Picture, Unforgiven wins. Are we good with that?
Unforgiven, I'm good with winning.
You're
yes.
good with that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did they ask you before they gave it to Unforgiven?
Yeah. I was working for Price Waterhouse back then.
Are you good with Hackman over Nicholson for Best Supporting Actor? Because that happened too.
I think it's I'll allow it. Yeah. I mean, I think it's like they're totally different things. Hackman is an example of like underplaying and subtlety, and Nicholson is just like turn it up to 11.
How about you?
They had already given him one of these for Terms of Endearment. One of these, like, yeah, you're like the fourth lead, but you're the best part of the movie kind of performances, so maybe they wouldn't have given. But then they give it to him for As Good as It Gets like 5 years later, and that's not as good as Jessup. I mean,
You guys
Jessup-
always
Where do you
argue
guys,
this stuff
Hackman or
like there's a
Nicholson?
logic to it, though.
What is the
Yes,
what's the
I
crowd
can
think?
solve their problems.
Hackman or Nicholson? What would you go with? Yeah, so that's how I feel too.
It would have been an interesting vibe if we had done an Unforgiven Rewatchables tonight.
$40 million budget made $243 million. Not bad. Rotten Tomatoes, Sean, 84%.
I don't subscribe to that service.
This is a tough one for our guy, Roger Ebert. 2.5 stars.
Yeah.
You know, even the greats miss sometimes.
Imagine being like meh at this 2.5.
He said, Rob Reiner's A Few Good Men is one of those movies that tells you what it's going to do, does it, and then tells you what it did.
I wish more things did that.
The flaws are mostly at the screenplay level. The film doesn't make us work, doesn't allow us to figure out things for ourselves, is afraid we'll miss things if they're not spelled out. Just a direct assault on Sorkin. Jesus.
The audience reacting to that review is like a man is down in the 50-yard line. Oh.
Injury
Oh,
jazz.
dear.
Two is down again.
We're going to commercial. Yeah.
All right, we're going to do the categories. The first one is most rewatchable scene. I threw in we have a couple new categories tonight. Just
That
for-
he made
for
up
the
up
crowd.
there. Yeah.
That might have made
Did
up
not
10
prep
minutes
us
ago.
for those.
Most rewatchable scene, Nicholson's first scene? Who the fuck is PFC Winner T. Santiago?
Why are you making him sound like Alec Baldwin from
I
The
don't know.
Departed?
I should have worked on this beforehand.
Who the fuck? Yeah.
Do you have a Nicholson?
No, I don't. Do a Nicholson impersonation? No. I can do Kathy doing Nicholson probably, but I can't do that. Yeah.
I love when he he briefly surrenders the position in Cuba. Then he gets mad. I think our officers have a responsibility to train young William. We're in the business of saving lives. So that was better. And then he pulls JT Walsh over. He's like, Matthew, we go back a while.
Yeah.
That's fucking brutal. I've elevated faster than you. If that's a problem.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Our guy JT Walsh. Next scene is the outdoor lunch with cigar chomping Jessup. Sean, what were they talking about for the hour before lunch was wrapping up? Like baseball talk?
I
What's
assume it was the
happening?
O's, right? How was Baltimore doing that?
No, they were talking about
Cuba stuff?
No, Lionel Caffey integrating the public school system.
no,
of the United
it's
States of
lunch.
America.
When they get through all of lunch and it ends and Jessup's like, yeah, and then they were surrendering to CNN crews. I had a
'Cause that's like
tank.
an hour-long lunch. And,
Yeah.
and Kendrick's there, who's basically a psychopath.
Yeah.
I just don't know what they would have small-talked about.
Was Desert Storm happening at this time?
Oh, maybe that was. You think
talking
there's like some
Schwarzkopf?
George Bush?
Oh, they were
Original
talking
George
Norm?
Bush stuff?
Storm and
they're talking
Norman?
Storm and Norman, yeah.
Probably true. Yeah.
It's like that Storm and Norman is a fraud.
That's when he does the, it just hit me. If you haven't gotten a blowjob from a superior officer, you're letting the best go by. And he's like, my problem is they haven't elected a female president. And you hear Kendrick in the background just laughing. This is the only time he laughs the entire movie. This is like, you finally hit my funny bone, Jessup. And he just gets madder and madder, and then he does the investigate me, you roll the dice, take your chances. See, Danny, I can deal with the bullets and the bombs. He does that whole thing. I love this scene. I think this is my second favorite scene in the movie.
Well, this is the Navy Whites scene, right?
Oh, yeah.
And the Harvard mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the shark comes out. It's amazing.
This is not my second favorite scene.
Not your second favorite scene. All right, tell us when we get there. Next one,
It's Sean's second favorite scene of the movie.
Can we make that a permanent category?
we could add it. This is Chris's second favorite scene. Caffey interrupting Jack's pickup game.
Yes.
And Jack just walking off the court and leaving a pickup game. In
Smiling
complete
Jack
shambles.
Ross, the Tom Gugliotta precursor.
If anyone ever did this in real life, it would be like the Tomjanovich Kermit Washington punch. Like, you just can't do this ever. It's the one thing you can't do. Is
It would be
just
the
leave a
Malice in
game.
the Palace. It would be
totally.
unbelievable.
We get Markinson's gone. There is no Markinson. And they just go back and forth right to Cruz going to see Harold, our guy Harold Dawson. And that's when Harold gives them the, you're such a coward. I can't believe they'll let you wear a uniform. Won't salute him.
Yeah.
Some strong Harold. We got a lot of Harold stuff coming
Wolfgang
later.
Bodison.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
legend.
Wolfgang Bodison stuff. I threw in the opening statements here for Rewatchable just because if you heard Courtroom Month, I just love opening statements. I get disappointed when Courtroom Month doesn't have an opening
And Danny's so
statement.
casual. He's
Yeah.
just like, that's just not true. It's
Yeah.
like, all right, lawyer.
Well, Ross's opening statements are the first time where someone explains everything that's going to happen in the movie, where he just says, this is what Caffey's going to do. He's going to say this happened. He's going to say this happened. Then he's going to call an officer to the stand. He's going to try to smear them with these accusations. He just kind of spoils the movie.
Yeah.
But we don't want to believe it because we don't want to be on Kevin Bacon's side. So we choose not to believe it as we're watching it.
I'm kind of half rooting for Kevin Bacon this whole movie. I know I'm not supposed to.
Bacon
I just love
also,
Kevin Bacon.
he knows how to have like a work-life balance. Like as soon as it's over, he's just like, great fucking job, Danny. Let's get beers.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna go arrest Kendrick. Like, can he do that? Like, is he just like a prosecutor?
I love these are the facts of the case, and they are undisputed, because he says it twice. Kevin Bacon is the number 4 guy in this movie.
Yeah.
It's about as good of a number. I was thinking basketball team-wise. This is like...
Sure.
I
Like
don't know.
Jalen Brown, number 4.
Who was... Oh, no. Wow.
He asked me how Harden was going upstairs. I had to get him back.
I was making a Sixers joke, and you just absolutely beat me and slit my throat.
Look, anytime you can give your number 4 guy $70 million a year, you got to do it. Who says no?
How do you think Kevin Bacon's handle was? You think he could dribble?
Yeah.
We never got to see. Your number 2 guy wants to get traded to the Clippers, and is probably eating right now. Next scene, the mess hall redirect.
Hoagies. He's double fisting hoagies right now.
The mess hall redirect, which turned the chapter that discusses code reds. I just follow the crowd at chow time, sir. And then the Kevin Bacon, he got me face.
Yeah.
Pretty good stuff.
And then the happy hour afterwards. Nice job on the redirect.
Yeah, we love in courtroom movies when the two sides, when they kind of respect each other. That leads to Markinson in the car, which I have a lot of questions for. A couple more scenes. You're a lousy fucking softball player, Jack. We got to put that in there.
Yeah.
That's one of the most rewatchables, right?
Put that on a
Code of
t-shirt.
honor makes me want to beat the shit out of someone. Like, Cruz, settle down, buddy. You got bullied into that courtroom, Danny, by everyone. By Dawson, by Galloway. Shit, I practically dared you. You got bullied in that courtroom by the memory of a dead lawyer. Brutal stuff.
Yeah.
Not as brutal as the Jaylen Brown comment, but really, really bad.
Same kind of thing, though, yeah.
You think he'll carry this through the rest of the pod?
Yeah, I need some time to recover.
I think you got a couple years.
Kendrick. I got Kendrick's testimony.
Yeah.
Angry Kendrick. I have drunk Tom Cruise. Wow.
This is my second favorite scene in the movie. Should we or should we not follow the advice of the galactically stupid?
The Rocco Globo School for Women!
Yeah, what is the Rocco Club School for Women?
Aaron Sorkin shit. Just like him looking in the yellow pages and being like, that works. Like,
This scene is insane.
yeah.
It's borderline kind of scary for Joe Galloway there for about 2 seconds.
Do you want to talk about how familiar Cruz is with the experience of being inebriated?
I'd love to.
Yeah. So he drinks like most of a fifth of Jack, right?
Yep.
He's driving, no big deal.
Yeah.
And fucking instantaneously sobers up as soon as it like occurs to him that he has to do this because of the memory of his dead lawyer. And I just don't know that I've ever seen a guy act drunk that way.
And he's drinking like that little thing of Jack Daniels.
Yeah, it's like just a little hip flask.
Yeah. One thing guys who are drunk are really good at are giving coherent monologues. That's
Yeah.
one of their best skills. So it's a good scene to me.
Also, Joe doesn't know that Kendrick killed himself. She assigned the two...
Markinson, yeah.
Yeah, or Markinson.
Yeah.
That she assigned the two people to watch his hotel room, and still, this is news to her that this happened. This whole scene
There's
is
no
crazy.
Twitter, so
There's
yeah.
a pouring rain.
Thread on Markinson. X, yeah.
It's pouring rain the whole day.
Yeah.
But she is like, she's leaving Kathy's place. He has a whole 10-minute scene with Kevin Pollak.
And she's like
And
a
then
block away.
Drunk drives to go chase her down, and she's just walking in the rain aimlessly down the street. Everything about this is great.
Is it already time for, are we sure Commander Joe Galloway is good?
No, we're a while away.
Are we sure Joe Galloway is fast?
All right, last scene. My pick, Cruz versus Nicholson.
21 minutes long.
It's like a prize fight. Cruz wins the first round. White and San Diego Pack. Whoa, got him. Jessup, 10-8 second round. Like there's a knockdown. He's like, please tell me their lawyer hasn't pinned their hopes
Yeah.
to a phone bill. And Cruz does
Thanks,
the
Danny. I love
Caffey,
Washington.
like, deer in the headlights face.
Yeah.
What do you want to talk about now? My favorite color?
Yeah. Cruz wins the third round. I'm not done with my examination. Sit down. And then Jessup wins the fourth one. We follow orders or people die. Are we clear? And then Cruz comes back. Big round for Cruz in the fifth. Why the two orders? The fundamental question of the movie.
Yeah.
Why the two orders? Why did Santiago have
Incredible.
to be transferred off the base?
The eyebrows are going nuts.
Yeah.
And that's it.
He's doing
Yeah.
this thing. Why?
Why?
Why, Colonel?
Why?
But he is in a full-blown whisper. He's whispering
Well, he's
to
having a
Jessup.
seizure.
But the jury needs to hear what he's saying, and they can't hear
Yeah.
him because he's whispering to Jack Nicholson. It's very weird.
And then the you can't handle the truth scene. which is just one of the great. This is now the whole concept of this podcast, the Rewatchables, is come home. There's like 45 minutes left. Like, oh, this is on. Oh shit, this is one of the all-time. Oh, we're gonna be at the Jessup speech.
Yes,
I'm staying.
Yeah,
and Nicholson. Wow, what is the greatest moment of his career if it's not this?
I want you to hold it between your knees. 5 Easy Pieces. It's a pretty good one. Easy Rider. Well, I think that's like an interesting thing about this
going
character.
through the door in The Shining.
Yeah, Shining. That's
not
a good one. He never played an authority figure. Really, he was always the rebel. He was always the guy who was operating against the system. And this is a rare time. He was the Joker. You know, he was an anarchist. He's never a guy who is trying to hold the system in place, like operate it out of a deviance. And, you know, he's amazing at
But
it.
he's still kind of like rebellious because he's like, I actually am not subscribing to laws. I'm not subscribing to what you think the Marine Corps should be doing.
You don't think Jessup should have been canceled?
Yeah.
You don't want the truth because deep down in places you don't talk about at parties, you want me on that wall. You need me on that wall.
Yeah.
That was the acoustic Jessup performance. Either way, I don't give a damn what you think you're entitled to. And then Cruise comes right in.
So this is my second most rewatchable scene. My first most rewatchable scene is the next scene where Downey doesn't understand that he's been honorably discharged. He's like, what happened? They said we were just following orders.
What did we do wrong?
Can't we go back to our base?
I think this is in the running for greatest Cruise scene ever.
Yeah.
This
is like a top 5 rewatchable scene flat out. Like, watch it on. I'll watch it on YouTube just to see you cut these guys loose.
Yeah.
Like it just fires me up to see him do it.
I mean, here's the thing. Cruise wins. He wins. He wins going away, in my opinion.
He beats Nicholson.
Yeah, I think so. Not obviously in the movie, his character beats
scene.
Jessup, but watching the scene, when I watch it now, when I was a kid, I had the same thing that you were describing, which is leading up to the release of this movie, the conversation was, there's an amazing Jack Nicholson scene to end this movie. But when I watch it now, I'm watching it for Cruise.
Yeah.
I'm watching it and when it went bad, you cut these guys loose. You had Markinson's, sign the phony transfer order. You doctored the logbooks. All that is my favorite part of the movie.
I think Cruise wins too.
I agree.
What does everybody else think? Yeah. Cruise.
Amazing.
Democracy.
What's aged the best?
Did you have any other rewatchable scenes? Anything else that we didn't talk about?
I really like when Joe goes to see Cruise for the first time and he's hitting ground balls.
130 miles an hour?
Yeah. To Sherby?
No, that's when Matt Craven comes and they do the first plea bargain.
Right.
But when Joe comes, that's the first sign of Yoo-Hoo, which is not a sponsor of the podcast tonight.
Yeah.
I love that scene.
What's aged the best? Give me one, CR. I have a whole list.
Of what aged the best?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Honestly, the movie ends at the end of the trial. We don't have 10 minutes of like, hey man, great job. Your dad would be really proud of you. And that's awesome, Joe. And maybe we can go on a date after this or not, whatever. And Kevin Pollak's like, I'm gonna go back to my job, not doing anything,
Wahlberg's like, my daughter's finally spoken a word.
There's no coda. I think that's amazing. It's just like, I'm here for the trial's over, the movie's over.
I have a bunch of stuff, but I love the roller coaster Caffey-Dawson relationship that really hits rock bottom, but then we end with a really corny scene that just gets me every time.
Ten Hut.
Harold, you don't have to wear a patch on your arm to have honor. And then Wolfgang Bodison just fucking goes for it.
Yeah.
Ten Hut! There's an officer on deck. That one always gets me. I love Bacon in this point in his career where he's like, you know what? I'm probably not Tom Cruise, but you know what I can be? Scottie Pippen.
Yeah.
That's who I am.
Yeah.
That's who I am for the next 20 years.
That's what aged the best?
It's Kevin Bacon coming to this realization.
You know what? I am overqualified to be Jack Ross.
Right.
But this
Did
is
he
good
ever
for the movie.
say that to anybody?
I think he knows deep down.
It's a good one.
There's some Jerry Maguire, Rod Tidwell foreshadowing with Cruise and Cuba Gooding in the courtroom together. So Sorkin creates his trademark in this movie of the two characters walking down the hallway.
The walk and talk.
Witty banter, the walk and talk with Jack Ross and Caffey. semi-evil Kiefer as Kendrick.
Age the best?
Purely evil or semi-evil?
I think he's deeply racist and probably a
evil.
misogynist.
Pure evil.
And also a war criminal. So yeah.
Okay.
Of those three, I mean, those categories, he checks all the boxes.
I like all you Navy boys. Every time we have to go somewhere to fight, you fellas give us a ride. Just a great dig. And then him on Santiago. Hot take. He's dead because he had no code. He's dead because he had no honor. God is watching. Jesus.
That would be fucking
Kendrick.
if Kendrick had been like, hot take. Coming up next, I'm going to tell you why Santiago's dead.
Is that what you will say when the Celtics trade the Jaylen Brown contract?
Nah. All right. Do you want me to start doing Jets jokes?
I expect nothing less.
Cruz's Nicholson impersonation was not scripted. So they genuinely were laughing when that happened.
Do you believe that, or do you think that's a story that Tom
I
Cruise
think Demi
told
Moore's
people
laugh
to
seems
tell?
pretty sincere. Joe Galloway does not laugh the entire rest of the movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what was pretty is aged the best, but I can't tell if it's like an aged the best or is aged out of existence, is lying on the couch, holding a baseball bat, watching a baseball game while wearing a sick Hawaiian shirt, and probably thinking about like the baseball game.
Yeah.
And
So
not
what's
being
that
like,
now?
I wonder if Mitch McConnell had a stroke today. That's so weird. I better go check YouTube. Like, and just being completely fucking, yeah. That's how I watch baseball now.
That's age the best. I agree.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Caffey's 1963 Chevy Impala. Pretty nice. Airman Cecil O'Malley and Anthony Rodriguez. Most impactful characters who never had a line. They don't speak.
Yeah.
They didn't even get paid.
We should have put them
They're
on the
not
marquee
striking right
tonight.
now for SAG. They didn't even get a
Tom
line.
Ringer.
Mutes coming up next.
This should be in half-ass trivia, but it's what's aged the best for me. Originally, Kendrick was the one driving the Humvee when he picks up them and they're in the whites. And he couldn't drive the extra wide vehicle, Kiefer Sutherland, and actually hit Marines on multiple takes. And they had to exchange him for Noah Wiley, who could drive the car better.
Do you think that's why he did 24?
Is that true?
Yeah. That was
Where
my
did you
research.
find that?
Listen, we got a crowd. I got to do
Yeah.
some research for this one.
Did you call Kiefer on that one?
I didn't. Not surprised. Child actor. What else do you have for what's aged the best, Sean?
I think Guantanamo Bay is the site of corrupt action. You know, that seems like a pretty...
Best?
Well, it resonates.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it works. It plays. But there's not everything about it plays.
I also have early 90s Cruise for me, just aging the best, because we still love Tom Cruise, right? He's like a relative who comes to Thanksgiving and you're like, oh man,
Yeah.
Uncle Tom's here. Jeez, don't ask him about whatever.
Yeah.
But you still like him. You know, he had some good times with him way back when, but kind of hope he doesn't get going after that second glass of wine.
After that fifth of Jack.
Yeah, just like, oh man, don't ask Tom about, CGI.
This is you in the pocket of Big Hanks right now.
All right, Quickie Awards. The Big Kahuna Burger Award, Best Use of Food and Drink. The Baltimore Crabs. They're like smashing crabs.
Uh-huh.
I would say that in the Yoo-Hoo.
I have Caffey thinking at the Monument getting the Den of Thieves Benihana Scene Stealing Location Award and the Great Shot Gordo. I like the wide shot.
Doubled it up.
Yeah, I love
Wow.
wide shot at DC. The Vincent Chase Award, named after Adrian Grenier and Entourage. Are we sure this character was actually good at his job? So Dawson. He engaged with his mare and shot across the enemy lines.
Yeah, so he almost starts World War III.
And then he's asked to give a code red and kills a guy. And then he's, Downey's not exactly a rocket scientist.
Yeah.
At no point does Dawson ever point out to anybody that he was the only one in the room when Kendrick ordered the code red.
Because he didn't
Are we
ask.
sure Dawson was good at his job?
At being a Marine or being a defendant?
Just being anything.
I mean, Joe Galloway says he is a poster child, like a poster Marine, so I take her word for it.
You do, huh?
Yeah.
we're bringing back the Unintentional Comedy Award, which was in the first Rewatchables. I'm going to give you the following choices. Drunk Tom Cruise, which already won. We already have the award. Cruise hitting softballs way too hard. He'd clearly never held a softball bat before, ever. And just extras getting murdered. The Adam's apple, balls hitting them, broken fingers. He just has no idea what he's doing.
Oh, my God.
Kendrick laughing after the blowjob joke we mentioned. Smiling Jack Ross leaving the pickup game. And then randomly anti-Semitic Jessup when he's like, "You, Lieutenant Weinberg?" It's like, whoa, this got dark really fast. Drunk Cruise wins. Any other unintentional comedy for you?
I mean, there's a lot of unintentional comedy, but I think I would filed away for later categories.
Okay.
It's really funny to me that the funniest person in this movie is the least funny person in the movie. Chris Guest is in the movie giving testimony.
He's like, "I am an internist."
Doctor, and he's like, "Yes." No.
Yeah.
He's not. There's no Chris Guest whatsoever in the movie.
The Tom Sizemore Action is the Juice Award for best toe-to-toe moment for a non-star. Kevin Pollak just chewing out Demi Moore.
Yeah.
They were bullies. Just goes right into them and leads her to say because they stand on a wall and they say nothing's gonna hurt you, not on your watch.
So you're a super big fan of Demi Moore's performance.
Well, he that's a 10-8 round for him. All right, let's do it. The Butch's Girlfriend Award, weak link of the film. I actually enjoy how miscast Demi Moore is in this movie, and I think I think if it was a serious actress, I don't think the movie's as fun to watch.
So like if it was Amy Adams.
But like, let's say Julianne Moore is Joe Galloway. She's just playing it straight. Is the movie more fun? Like, probably not.
Well, Julianne Moore, when Weinberg says all that to her, she could go, "Don't call me lady!"
In the myriad of featurettes that I watched after watching this movie, there's one that talks about every single actor, and everybody is interviewed. Sorkin has interviewed, Reiner has interviewed, Cruise, the whole lot. And they go through character by character. They talk about, for 5 minutes, why Kevin Pollak was perfect for this movie, why Kiefer Sutherland was perfect for this movie, how much they nailed their parts, how they came to play every day because Jack Nicholson raised the level. And I kid you not, Rob Reiner is like, "Here's the thing about Demi Moore in this movie. She had to audition for this part, and she got the part." And that's pretty much all he says.
Wow.
And it's like, Demi Moore was a big star at this time.
Right.
And she had to audition in a movie full of movie stars that definitely did not have to audition.
Where she just spends the entire movie being like, "Kathy, you're the best."
I asked when we originally did this, I asked Amanda if she set back the women's movement 1, 3, or 5 years in this movie. It is this character that existed for a long time and faded in the 21st century, the emotional support female lead.
Yeah.
Who's just there to kind of bring our hero home and look at him glowingly, and that's why they're there.
I mean, Cruise has a litany of like Gene Triplehorn and The Firm, like,
oh yeah,
just people are like, "Man, I can't believe I got to marry you." You know, like,
what's that like?
I have no idea.
Do you think they have chemistry, Demi Moore and Tom Cruise?
I don't think that they are unwatchable in any way. I just don't think they have any sexual vibes going whatsoever.
I just think she's been saddled with Sorkin dialogue, which she is not equipped to deliver.
Yeah.
So like, she just never feels like a human being because she's not that kind of actor. I think she's another good movie star, but Cruise is delivering on the Sorkin dialogue, and she's not. It's like, it's really awkward watching her in this movie.
We're gonna win. It's like, all right. I strenuously object. That part's tough.
Yeah.
But as this movie ages, I kind of like it. Like, it is a fun wrinkle that it's just like, man, this was kind of a miss. But
can
it's
co-counsel just tap in whenever they want like that?
I don't think so. What's age the worst? You're under arrest, you son of a bitch. I just don't think he's saying that to Jessup.
I think Judge Julius is taking the gloves off. He's like, "You guys, we're gonna whoever leaves wins." Yeah.
Sean mentioned Christopher Guest as Dr. Stone.
You thought that aged the worst?
What is this performance? It's really weird.
Did you want like a funnier internist from Guantanamo Bay?
It's Christopher Guest. Why is he in the movie?
Because he's buddies with Reiner.
I mean, it's obviously, you know, they did This Is Spinal Tap and they're friends, but it's a very weird, like, it would be like if I cast you as Dr. Stone. I'd be like, let me find the funniest guy I've ever met and make him be boring. That's such a weird choice.
Very strange. Caffey has a Nintendo on top of his TV.
That's aged fantastically.
Well,
That's how
maybe
every
worse than
fucking
that.
guy got down in the 92.
I wrote down Luther, the newsstand guy. That's pretty tough character.
That's absolute horse shit. That's some of the dumbest shit ever in a Sorkin movie.
Yeah.
Where they're just repeating aphorisms at each other, and he's like, I like old black men. I'm a progressive young man. It's
Guess you
fucking
guys didn't go to
nonsense.
enough magazine stands in the 90s.
What was the name of your guy?
My guy.
This movie has a Clue board game reference that I'm not sure anyone under 35 would get. Do people
Professor
still
Plum.
play Clue?
Yeah. I think
People
so.
know what Clue is.
All right, fine.
Should we do the movie Clue on the Rewatchables? See that?
You're all cut off. Ebert's review has this too, as a What Stage is the Worst. He wrote, the movie doesn't think the audience is very bright. It's just a personal attack. You mentioned Downey. We did nothing wrong. We did nothing wrong. He's just a complete idiot.
Yeah.
I have more questions about him later.
How?
He perjures himself, and he's just like, "Ah." Yeah.
Markinson's suicide letter, which ends...
Jesus, Phil.
Hold on. I'm going to land this plane. I'm a pro. We've done 300 of these.
You're gonna land it like Denzel in Flight.
land
You're
it.
like, I'm gonna roll it. We got it.
Just give me a second. Writes this whole letter to Santiago's parents, which ends, and the truth is this. Your son is dead for only one reason. I wasn't strong enough to stop it. Always, Lieutenant Colonel Matthew H. Markinson. What? What's the always?
Yeah.
You're about to put a gun in your mouth.
That'd be amazing if he was
Always,
just like,
for about 2 more seconds,
Yeah.
Lieutenant Markinson. I just don't get that at all.
holy shit. Yeah.
That's a good one.
The ending just has the end in big capital letters?
I
Yeah.
love that.
You
I
like
love
it,
that.
okay.
It's the end.
No, that's awesome. My great shot, Gordo, is the last shot, pull up, seeing him standing in the courtroom by himself, and the end, because it's like a movie that could have been made in 1935, 1965, 1992. It's a beautiful ending.
It's the guy who's seen Oppenheimer 3 times. 6 days.
Great film.
All right, let's talk Yoo-Hoo.
Oh wait, I have a few. Wait, let's talk what?
For what stage the worst? Caffey doesn't shake the Yoo-Hoo before he drinks it.
Does somebody want to try the Yoo-Hoo? I'm not gonna drink it, but
And Chris, you pointed this out 6 years ago, but he finishes softball practice and just immediately
Guzzles a
downs it.
Yoo-Hoo. Yeah.
Guzzles the Yoo-Hoo.
which is like
It's
how
the
I
early
used to behave
Gatorade.
when I was 14, but
Yeah.
not when I was a lawyer.
Caffey
Yeah.
like 12 years old?
Yeah.
It's like a Josh Baskin thing. The clothes of this movie are very early 90s. It was a rough era
They've
for
come
all
back
of us.
though. Like Joe's whole outfit is in the mix. The high waist jeans, right?
Caffey has some horrendous shirts.
Yeah.
They look like Super Bowl media day, like some of the sports writers.
I feel like I dress exactly like Sam.
Like Sam Weinberg.
Yeah.
I put this in What Stage the Worst. Cruz said he modeled his performance on his friend, the Church of Scientology chairman, David Miscavige.
Yeah. That one is still clinging to the Wikipedia page.
According to the book Going Clear, it's something Miscavige bragged about to his friends.
Wouldn't
that
you?
I was Daniel Caffey.
Yeah.
Kind of wish I hadn't read that one.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sure is.
I
So's
see.
this. I'm about to bring the crowd down. So Sorkin took this story from the real life incident we mentioned earlier. Lance Corporal David Cox, 9 others, tied up a fellow Marine, severely beat him for snitching to naval criminal investigators. He was acquitted and later honorably discharged. In 1994, he mysteriously vanished and his bullet-riddled body was found 3 months later and the murder remains unsolved.
Is that on our conspiracy? Did you find that or?
It was in the Wikipedia.
Yeah.
So when you were working on this last night, and you were like,
Was
I
that,
found
how
this
can I kill the
nugget.
crowd?
I'm gonna share this with 400 people.
The inspiration
go
of this
great.
movie was found dead, and nobody knows how it happened. That aged the worst. Any other what's aged the worst for you guys?
Yeah, I got a few. We don't get to see Cruz play 5-on-5 hoops. He's supposed to be in that Jack Ross game, but he's too busy in Cuba. But I like getting Tom Cruise in a 5-on-5 basketball game with Kevin Bacon would have been.
So what sports have we seen him play?
Well, he plays basketball in
cornerback.
Cocktail. He plays football in Oblivion and in War of the Worlds.
He plays cornerback in all the right moves. He's like Sauce Gardner in that movie.
Sauce Gardner.
We save it
He
softball
wishes
line
he was
drives.
Sauce Gardner.
What else has he done?
Top Gun
volleyball.
Top Gun, the 2 footballs,
Oh, double football.
double football, dogfight football. That's what they call it.
Yeah, gymnastics
That's
in
right.
the firm.
The gymnastics in the firm, tumbling.
No, that was stunt double. I think in War of the
Pool,
Worlds.
yes.
Pool in the color of
Oh,
money.
pool, billiards. Yeah, we're counting that.
Yeah. Bare knuckle boxing and far and away.
We Are the World's tough throwing motion for Cruz.
Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't great.
I have a couple others though.
Yeah.
Just everybody after 4 days of like so legal work, 4 people coming up to Kathy and being like, "You're the GOAT." It's kind of like NBA Twitter after like 3 games of the season where they're just like, is Tyrese Maxey the MVP? Who says it? Oh, and it's like, no, he's not. He's not. Trust me. And so like just watching Kathy for like not really do very well in the opening parts of the trial. And
You should
Sam-
have seen yourself today, Daniel.
yeah, and Sam's like, you would have busted your dad's ass in that courtroom. That's Inch the worst.
So,
Show
anything for
don't
you,
tell,
Sean?
you know?
Needing to defend our position against Cuba is kind of a funny one.
Yeah.
We don't really think of Cuba in quite that way.
Yeah.
It's not 4,000 men trying to kill Jack Nicholson in
More
Cuba right now.
formidable than the Top Gun Maverick opponent?
Well, who knows? Who can
With
say,
the country
right?
of...
Yeah.
Ron Burgundy flew to where best time for a pee break. First 8 minutes.
Yeah.
You're fine. Just come in minute 9.
Hit
You're good to
start.
go. Yeah.
Take a leak,
9 minutes in.
grab some pretzels.
For me, it was whatever the crab date is with Joe. I'm just like, what is this?
That's electric shit. Are you
Oh, I
kidding
love
me?
it.
Where he's like, you need to prepare yourself for the fact that we're going to lose. It's good. You'd rather watch those guys warm up as Marines?
I want to see the code red in action. That's what I want to see.
You know, in the research, it said Cruz practiced cracking crabs for 4 months.
He actually became a crab fisherman. Yeah.
Was there a better title for this movie?
I think Code Red is in the mix, right?
Yeah.
How about 2 orders?
No, that gives it away.
Code Red?
Yeah.
Like Code Red or A Few Good Men? What do you think? All right. How about best porn parody title? Dishonorable Discharge or A Few More Good Men? Best quote.
I feel like Nothing But the Truth is a good
Porn name?
different title for this film. And
Nothing But the Truth would be a pretty flat porn. I'd probably skip that.
my stage porn name is The Truth. Actually,
It's not Jonathan J. Kendricks.
Best quote, obviously it's You Can't Handle the Truth, but we also have, so this is what a courtroom looks like, and the hits just keep on coming. Nobody likes her very much. Don't I feel like the fucking asshole? I have no responsibilities here whatsoever. My favorite, though, is There Is No Marketson. Marketson is gone.
Yeah.
I love
Marketson's
that
a
one.
ghost.
This movie has so many quotes. When I was writing for ESPN back when my figures worked, I did 50 of the quotes for an NBA like free agency something in 2003. It was perfect for it.
Seems
All right.
to be a piece of writing that's really lived with you since
The
then.
Stephen
yeah.
A.
I'm gonna do a full reading of that column right now.
Yeah. Stephen A. Smith Hottest Take Award. See, I already have one.
Yeah, this is. I know we're doing this live, but this is a little bit of a work in progress. So I wanted to see how it.
Oh, you're
how it
workshopping
lands.
one?
Yeah. All right.
Oh, this is like when Chappelle goes up. He's working with the crowd.
Yeah. Don't record this, Craig. Is Danny Caffey the Jimmy Butler of law? Bad locker room guy, constantly undermining authority, distracted by outside endeavors. For Caffey, it's softball. For Jimmy, it's big face coffee. But he is fucking nails when it matters most, you know?
I like it.
Also, the other one was just like, are we sure that this case is that big of a deal? Like, it just feels like some bullying that got out of hand, and in the grand scheme of things that the Marine Corps have done.
Your hottest take is that Santiago deserved to die.
No. It's just more like, They act like they've like saved democracy in that courtroom, and I'm kind of wondering if it even warrants like a mention in the Washington Post.
My hottest take. Did Private Santiago deserve to die? I don't know. Did it save lives? Like, you could argue it did. I don't know.
You're not a big snitch guy. Not real big on
That
snitches.
guy had no code.
He had no code.
Unit core blog country. Yeah.
Do you have a hottest take or no?
It's a little hard to top Santiago deserved to die. I said that I think Cruz won the scene. I also think that Cruz should have been nominated for Best Actor, and I also think he should have won, and I think this should have been the first of his 3 Academy Awards that he has not received.
To beat Tom Hanks?
Well, that would have helped.
Do you think
my
Miscavige
argument.
should have given him the award, like, and just been like?
Well, we know that he's given him many awards since for his service, so not worried about that.
Oh, I forgot to do this. And it's a new award. It's the Father Robert Duvall Award for Best Unexpected
we don't know
Cameo.
these, by the way.
For the what? No, Chris Guest. Just out of nowhere, Chris Guest.
Father Robert Duvall.
Yeah, an Invasion of the Body Snatchers. He's just a priest for 10 seconds for reasons that remain unclear. Just wanted to throw that in there. Casting what ifs. So Gene Hackman turned down Jessup to do Unforgiven. Good move or bad move, Sean? He wins the Oscar for Unforgiven.
Obviously a good move. They went to Hackman before Nicholson.
Apparently they did. You know who else they interviewed?
Jimmy Woods.
Jimmy Woods.
James Woods, and then they yanked the offer when Nicholson said yes. They're like, never mind.
Sorry, Jimmy.
James Woods would have killed
James
this.
Woods would have been good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he really would have. No, Nicholson.
I'm not
but-
condoning the public persona of James
Yeah.
Woods, but he
No,
was
he's-
an
listen.
amazing piece of shit in movies.
When they landed Nicholson, Reiner said it was like landing Babe Ruth. So Demi Moore dropped her $3 million asking price down to $2 million because she was coming off the triple box office failure of The Butcher's Wife, Mortal Thoughts, and Nothing But Trouble.
Nothing
And
but
she's like,
trouble.
you
is
know
a tough
what?
one, yeah.
I'm going to drop my asking price from 3 to 2 was her reaction. A little like James Harden right now.
Uh-huh.
Stuck on the Sixers
Yeah.
for $35 million for 1 year. But she was battling 2 actresses. Do you know the 2?
I don't, but I was just thinking of Aaron Rodgers dropping his asking price to go play for the New York Jets. Thank you to Aaron
Fair.
Rodgers for doing so.
Jodie Foster and Linda Hamilton
Ooh.
were the other 2
It's
in the mix.
really hard to imagine Lyndall Hamilton being like, you're so important.
It's
You're
a
so
different
great."
movie. Yeah, it is.
But she could have jousted with him better. She's tough.
She's breaking out the guns at one point too, right?
She
just ripped
fucking
from
smashed that
Terminator 2.
crab with
Yeah.
her fist. Yeah.
She's in a tank top for that scene.
She wouldn't even break the
The crowd's gonna really react to this next one. Originally cast as Sam Weinberg, Jason Alexander.
Yeah.
And then Seinfeld renewed for season 2, had to drop out. Kevin Pollak,
I bet that's been
Falls in.
financially advantageous to Jason Alexander.
he's fine. I think Weinberg's better with Jason Alexander though, as much as I like Kevin Pollak.
Disagree.
Disagree, why?
Also,
Pollak
aren't
is
you
like-
glad you don't have to watch A Few Good Men and think of George every time?
Oh, that's fair. That's a solid point.
There's something kind of squirmy about Jason Alexander. You know, I think of him in Pretty Woman.
It would have made Weinberg more
Do
interesting.
you think that it would have been cooler if Larry David had been Sam Weinberg?
that would have been awesome?
That would have been good.
My kid, he can't talk yet.
I don't like it. Yeah.
Wolfgang Bodison was working for Rob Reiner as a location scout, and then Reiner, for some reason, decided he was perfect to be Harold Dawson, and all of a sudden, he's acting with Cruz and Nicholson. This is a thing that actually
You
happened.
can't overstate the craziness of this
This
story.
is nuts.
Yeah.
Never acted
It's a
before.
heat check from Rob Reiner.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm Rob Reiner. I'm putting my location scout in.
They
On
come to
trial.
him and they're like, Rob, we got an extra $1 because Demi dropped her asking price. You can have anybody. And he's like, this guy.
He's good.
He's good.
Dawson is
Yeah.
good in this
I think
movie.
James Marshall's good. It's just a...
Yeah, but he's an actor. Like, Wolfgang Bodison has to go toe-to-toe, you know, the
With Cruz.
God, core country, that whole speech with Cruz.
Yeah.
And he holds up his end of the
Unit
bargain.
core God country.
Oh, sorry.
What's your code?
What years did you serve?
Primarily Nam, but, yeah.
The Tom Cruise Award for most valiant attempt to emulate a normal human being goes to Tom Cruise. The softball scenes, which I watched carefully and delightedly.
So
At
this
one
time
point-
around, I actually did wonder, can you imagine if you're on the team with Daniel Caffey? He's like, we're going to do batting practice for our rec softball league, and I'm going to hit a bunch of like, do people really fucking shag grounders? Like, it's like a bar league, right?
Do you think he ad-libs, let's go, let's get two, on one of his hits, or is that in the Sorkin script?
I do have to share with the audience that when we were up in the green room, CR said that if he played in this league, he could hit 280.
Oh, easy.
He did say that.
I could switch hit and fucking hit 280 in this league. And also, this was back before dorks ruined baseball, so it wouldn't be like my OPS.
Yeah, your on base percentage would be 310, but you'd hit 280.
Well, Cruise also wins the Ruffalo Hannah Rubinick Partridge Overacting Award for Drunk Tom Cruise.
Also,
Just
miraculously sober the next morning,
Yep,
Cruise.
he's fine.
Yeah.
Best
Yeah,
that
second
guy.
win.
J.A. Preston as the judge. I actually didn't know what his name was.
Prescott.
Prescott? I still don't know what his name
There you go.
Might be Preston.
Wanted to mention him, but the winner is, in the beginning, one of the three guys interviewing Joe Galloway was that guy who played the 90210 rapist, Garrett Slane. Talk about it, that guy. I have no idea what that guy's name is. Yeah, there's some 90210.
You're leaving one on the table, though.
Who is it?
Sam and Danny's boss is Xander Berkeley, who also plays Ralph in Heat, which people
there you go.
remember
Good
is the
one,
guy who's balling my wife, but you cannot watch my television.
Is, in your mind, is Michael DiLorenzo fit the bill for this from New York Undercover, who plays Santiago?
I think he's Michael DiLorenzo.
Are you guys huge Michael DiLorenzo fans?
That's a big show.
Yeah.
It was, but I knew Malik Yoba's name like from the day I was born. I couldn't never remember his name.
Deion Waiters Award, if it's not Jack Nicholson, who is it? Is it Kendrick?
It feels dirty to say Kendrick, but
No,
yeah.
he's really good in this.
Yeah.
Recasting couch. If we just had Will Smith and Brad Pitt as Dawson and Downey, is this a better or worse movie? Let's star it up. Will Smith and
If
Brad Pitt
Magic
are
Johnson
Dawson
and Larry Bird were just in the jury, wouldn't that be cool?
But at the
Yeah.
time of their careers, it's realistic. And,
Okay.
and Brad Pitt could have played Downey like Floyd in True Romance, and it would have been the same character. Hell?
Wait, you think Floyd would be Downey?
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
But here's what I got for Joe. My runner-up choices were Julianne Moore and Gina Davis. My winner is Angela Bassett. And I think she would have been fucking awesome as Joe Galloway.
Yeah.
Yeah, the crowd agrees. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that. Half-assed internet research. We've done most of these. We didn't do that. Cruise was paid $12.5 million. Nicholson, $5 million for 10 days of shooting. $500,000 a day.
Jalen Brown numbers.
It's Jalen Brown numbers. It really is. Is that 500? It's close. Nicholson was mad that Columbia Pictures moved the film's release date to direct to compete against his other film, Hoffa, which was bad.
Hoffa's okay.
They wouldn't let them shoot at Camp Pendleton.
Blew by that one.
Do you like it? Yeah, Hoffa's good.
He got nominated
Big
for
Philly-
a Golden
Philly guy.
Raspberry.
What's
for
that?
one.
Hoffa was kind of the Harden of union leadership, though, was he not?
No, he got a lot farther in the playoffs than Harden did.
Jack
Did get
Nicholson
buried,
and J.T. Walsh were in Hoffa and A Few Good Men and became very good friends. And when he won his third Oscar, he dedicated to the memory of J.T. Walsh.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. They turned out, Markinson and Jessup, they're linked together. How many movies do you think Kevin Bacon has played a character named Jack?
4.
5.
6. Frost Nixon, My Dog Skip, Apollo 13, this movie, Quicksilver, and Friday the 13th in 1980.
Quicksilver is sick. You like that?
Is that the cycling one?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
I like that
bike
one.
messenger one.
Yeah.
So Pollack has done a lot of interviews and podcasts about this movie, and he said there was a Godfather night at Tom and Nicole's.
I
screened-
shudder to think what that could mean.
He said they screened The Godfather in their home theater.
Oh, nice.
It was followed by an Italian feast, and then they watched Godfather Part 2. This would have been.
That's a long night.
That's like a 9-hour night. It's like Eyes Wide Shut.
It's light work for me.
You would have done that?
Hell yeah.
What a great night, right?
Who cooked?
Should you have cruise night and just do Godfather 1 and 2 with an Italian feast?
Me and Tom?
Yeah, two of you.
Hell yeah. I'd love that. You think Tom listens to the Rewatchables?
No.
And I think of all the things we've said about him, he's going to zero in on that. They're like, I have to have dinner with Sean.
Sean, been listening for years. Your episodes are my favorite. I want to come over and watch The Godfather with you.
So I did the research on the 2 baseball games that Cruz Caffey's watching in this movie.
Yeah.
The first one is a Braves-Padres game. Dave Justice hits a homer to tie in the bottom of the 10th. Padres win 11-10. Atlanta goes on to lose the 91 World Series as they were filming this.
2.
Second one, Minnesota-Baltimore.
It's a Kirby Puckett in the Minnesota
Rick
Twins.
Aguilera blows the save. Randy Milligan game-winning double, which we see on TV.
And that's the
Baltimore
end of a
wins.
Twins streak.
Minnesota
right?
wins the World Series.
Yeah.
A few good men determining the World Series. Apex Mountain, Demi Moore, no.
Oh, I have one more piece of internet research. Sorry.
What do you got?
There is a New York Times article about how at one point in the 2010s, there were a bunch of lawyers in Connecticut who were claiming to have been the inspiration for Daniel Kaffee. And it was like right at that edge where you could get away with shit like that and no one would really investigate it. So there's a guy who just had a website. He's like, you may have seen A Few Good Men. That was me. If you get in an accident, I will defend you. And then the New York Times was like, is that true? And he was like, he just took it off his website. That's pretty sick. People should do shit like that more. I was the inspiration for cruising. Now I work for Bill Simmons.
Apex Mountain for Nicholson, no.
What is?
But what is it? It's probably Chinatown, right? He's got Cuckoo's Nest in Chinatown back to back. It's somewhere in there. I
Yeah.
mean, Jesus Christ, what a combo.
Iron Meat?
You could make the argument broadcast news and Batman is when he's like the biggest star.
Yeah. Code Reds, I'm going to say yes. Marching bands performing whatever that song was, yes. Guantanamo Bay, no. Kevin Pollak, yes.
Yeah.
Sorkin, no. JT Walsh?
No, Blue Chips.
Blue Chip.
We owe it to him.
Yoo-hoo?
Yeah. Until tonight.
Bacon, no. Rob Reiner? Seinfeld just got picked up.
Castle
Few
Rock
Good
is
Men? I'm
humming.
going to say
Yeah.
yes.
Did you read that Goldman was like on retainer at Castle Rock?
Oh my God, Castle Rock was just throwing
He just
money
like
everywhere.
kept in office and they're like,
Yeah.
Bill, could you come in and just fix this for us on every
Yeah.
project they worked on?
Amazing. How about softball practice? CR.
Definitely cinematically, yeah. I hope that there have been better softball practices, but
Wolfgang Bodison?
yeah.
Yes. Tom Cruise? I feel like we've already decided his Apex Man. I think it was Jerry Maguire,
Yeah.
which he should have won the Oscar for. Best racehorse name?
Oh, I have some more Apex Mountains.
What do you got?
Lactic acidosis. And it's definitely Apex Mountain for having only 2 books at your bedside, the Marine Corps Code of Conduct and the King James Bible.
Best racehorse name? Code Red, Jessup, or Markinson's Gone?
The Rocco Colombo School for Women.
Let's do the Mallory Rubin Award for Did This Movie Need a Better Sex Scene?
Or a sex scene.
So, TriStar executives instructed Sorkin to make several changes to the story, including a sex scene with Caffey and Galloway. Sorkin was traumatized by it. And an unnamed executive gave him the note, if Tom Cruise and Demi Moore aren't going to sleep with each other, why is Demi Moore a woman? And he responded, I said the obvious answer. Women have purposes other than to sleep with Tom Cruise. And was super upset about it.
Yeah. Famous good women character writer Aaron Sorkin.
But we got to figure out, did this movie need a better sex scene? So we're bringing in a special guest. We've made up Meghan Markle. Come on. No. Mallory Rubin. Come on out.
Bill, you want me on that wall? You need me on that wall.
This podcast just went from PG-13 to rated R. Mallory, this award is named after you. Did this movie need a better sex scene? Or a sex scene?
Absolutely. What are we doing here? Like a lot of high-stress days?
Yeah.
How is everybody relaxing?
Jack Daniels and softball.
Kathy is just like me, watching too much of the Orioles to have any sex at all. You know? It's tough. The only sexual thing in the movie at all is the Jessup blowjob story. So, barring what would be certainly the winner
deeply erotic tale.
What's aged the worst, which is like a daydream sequence where we get to see that in full. I don't think we have too many candidates, but I think we have 3 possible options for a Kathy sex scene, okay? So...
Markinson in the car.
4 options for a Kathy sex scene. The first is just like a rando, right?
Sure.
They're at his apartment all the time. This is where they're working the case.
Somebody leaving.
Or like you find a bra, some sexy underwear. It leads to an awkward conversation, right?
Joe. Joe
when Joe
seems a
goes
little
to put
jealous.
the bat in a closet, there's somebody hiding out in there, right? I think that the Joe Galloway Daniel Kaffee option is actually number 2 on the list of most enticing, but we should obviously talk about it because I think there's one clear spot in the movie where it could have happened.
Yeah, the date.
It's after the sexiest thing that people can do together, and that's slice their hands open and douse their bloodstream with Old Bay seasoning, eating steamed crabs in the mid-Atlantic, right? You smell great after, you feel great after.
Oh, God.
It's the purest high you can get. Who doesn't want to go home and fuck after that? No?
Anybody north of Baltimore.
I don't know. I'm a child of the Mid-Atlantic, so it seemed logical to me.
What's the third sex scene?
Okay, I think this is actually the winning candidate, and I'm excited to discuss this with you all. Kathy and Aunt Ginny.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
Palpable tension.
Yeah.
There's a vibe there that frankly does not exist between Kathy and Joe, right?
It does not.
Why is he so flummoxed and so flabbergasted when he meets her?
He loves farm girls. Yeah.
Yeah, well, some role play, right?
I'll be Uncle Goober.
Yeah, Uncle Goober,
Right.
exactly, out in the barn. Maybe like after they're out celebrating. I mean, I guess it's kind of a bummer note at the end, but you know, they weren't charged with murder at the end of the day. There's something to celebrate, right? What do you think?
Like it.
Do you ship it?
So Gina Davis as Aunt Ginny. Like 2 scenes, just calls it in. Like Chris Guest, how Chris Guest shows up.
I think she was busy with A League of Their Own at this time.
Yeah, probably right. All right, Mallory's going to stay and do the rest of the pod with us. Because it's time to pick some nits. We already covered did Kathy and the team need this much softball practice. I've never heard of softball practice for adult men unless it's like an actual league with
Can you imagine trying
money.
to explain to your significant other, like, oh, this is just practice?
It's like, you have a game? Well, not technically, no.
Every game ends 8-7 when a guy blows out his Achilles, but we need to
Yeah.
practice. Yeah.
Picking nits. It took the dream team of Kathy and Weinberg and Galloway 6 weeks to realize that Santiago wasn't packed for a 6 a.m. flight.
No, he knows the first night. He knows the first day, right?
No,
It
but
just,
he
has to jog his memory when he goes in his
He
club.
doesn't realize that this is something he can latch onto during the trial as what's going on here.
I think it's only when he realizes that he can use the phone records that he uses those 2 things together to make a point to Jessup.
They have a whiteboard with every conceivable thing.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, the bat was near my clothes. Now I know.
It was a little bit of like naming the ringer whiteboard. You know, you remember
Oh,
that?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
A lot of good ideas. there.
Dark one.
Yeah.
No bad ideas in a brainstorm.
Hey, another nitpick. Just Sam Weinberg, just a mail-in job by him.
As a
Didn't really
lawyer?
want to be in the case.
Yeah.
Couldn't prep his witnesses. What good did Sam Weinberg do in this entire trial?
He's late with O'Malley and Rodriguez.
Yeah, I think the nitpick, though, it's actually kind of the other way, right? My nitpick there is with Joe and Kathy. Like, why don't they boot him from the case? They're begging him to stay. Danny's like, I need you for your excellent witness prep, even though one of our star witnesses hasn't shared the most vital piece of information with us.
Yeah.
And I need you for your research. But every third line out of his mouth is saying that he thinks these guys are monsters who belong in the seventh circle of hell. I might say, thanks for your work so far. We've got it from here.
Nitpicks?
Why in the name of God was Downey testifying? What the hell is going on there?
Yeah.
They put Downey on the stand and before Dawson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Downey who can barely communicate?
I think they thought it would be like
hell?
he would be sweet. They would be like, oh, like he's an innocent. You know?
Love to put a sweet innocent on the stand and then fuck everything up in our case. That's crazy.
And then
Yeah,
you
that
have
was
Jack
bad.
Ross tomahawk on him, like
Yeah, he dunked on him. That's tough. And also, why did Dawson not testify to clean up
I
Downey's
think they
mess?
cut the Dawson
I think that's just
testimony.
cut out of the movie
Yeah.
because they do reference at some point that they might want to put Downey on the stand again before they go to Dawson. So he's
Right.
clearly supposed to take the stand, and we just don't see it.
Damn, they robbed us of another Wolfgang Bodison scene.
Why did Jack Ross wait a week to arrest Kendrick? Or maybe even more than a week? Because at the end, he's like, I gotta go arrest Kendrick. Kendrick wasn't arrested the moment Jessup admitted he ordered the code red?
yeah.
What was he doing? Like just going to the movies? Hanging out in bars?
Reading the King James Bible,
Yeah.
you know?
I hate to be a party pooper, but apparently conduct unbecoming a United States Marine is not a crime in real life.
Maybe it should
Sorkin
be.
knows
Yeah.
this, and he's like, yeah, well, I was feeling it.
I wanted to ask the panel about this. So Todd McCarthy reviewed this for Variety, and he wrote, Sorkin delivers the goods in potent fashion and manages the nifty trick of making the audience feel as though it has experienced something considerably more sobering and profound than it really is, which sort of gets to your point, like what did they really do there? But guys like Jessup just don't do what he did in real life. Like powerful men who've been in power for 30 years don't get into courtrooms and say like, you're goddamn right, I committed a crime.
Yeah,
Right.
but it's like
Yeah.
then you get into the whole like, what if like they just ran out of the building in Die Hard? Like then there wouldn't be a movie, you know? Like
Definitely,
yeah,
but
Jessup would have like 9 lawyers. They would be like, you don't have to answer that. Don't do that.
right.
Yeah.
Like Aaron Sorkin based a lot of this on real events, but at the end of that story, the colonel wasn't like, I'm guilty. Please arrest me.
There's also like Jack makes like 32 sustained objections and Danny just like blows by them and he's like, nope. And, like,
What do you got, Mal?
For picking nits, okay, you guys have hit on a lot of the food-related stuff already, but I am curious, like genuinely, you know, I think about nutrition and wellness a lot. How is this guy alive?
Danny?
Yeah,
Yeah.
as far as I can tell, his entire diet is, I mean, he states, I only have Yoo-hoo and Cocoa Puffs at home. Even I have more in my pantry and fridge than that. Okay, if you want to eat anything else, you have to bring it. He eats popcorn that has been sitting out on an open bar table. Okay,
Yeah.
he orders a beer. Doesn't care at all what kind it is.
I think he wants Jack's beer.
I'll take a beer.
Yeah.
Drinks Jack Daniels, and he touches every single donut on that
I noticed
office
that,
tray.
right.
Takes one, takes a single bite of it, and then throws out the rest. Crazy.
Wait, on that pick and Nick quickly.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about how he orders a beer, and this is the all-time movie trope where they just bring a beer.
Yeah.
It's never happened
Instantaneously.
ever in real
Yeah.
life where somebody's like, I'll have a beer.
Yeah.
How would you feel
I'll
if he
be
said,
here.
I'll have the usual?
That was another one from recent Rewatchables.
Couple other food things. I guess technically you could say that oregano is a condiment, but I wouldn't, and I find it, as an editor by trade, alarming. It's a seasoning or a garnish that trips me up every time.
Sorkin will just straight up be like, this sounds better.
Does it? I don't know.
Yeah, like I think he's just like
I don't know. That would have been my
rhythmically, I
pick
like
for
it.
the pee break, so I don't have to hear him call oregano a condiment. And then you guys already talked about the time that Tom Cruise spent on the steamed crab technique and how to crack it. I have genuinely, I mean this sincerely, this is not hyperbole, never seen anything more offensive in a movie than the way Joe Galloway is working those crab legs. That is just not how you use a steamed crab picking knife.
As
How did she
my
not slice her
blood
tongue
streams
off?
into Old Bay seasoning? So are you sure you know how to do crabs?
Yeah, you eat them with your hands. You use the knife for like technique, not to actually shovel the crab morsels into the back of your throat.
I think she's so sexually frustrated at that point.
True. Just waiting
Whamming
for
that
Kathy
thing.
to notice. On the sports front, I think you guys have talked a lot about the softball. It's valid. It's deeply distressing to watch him in the BP. Not enough talk so far about what Tom Cruise is allowed to do in this movie with a Nerf basketball hoop.
Yeah.
How did this make the final
shoot
cut?
eight shots in 2 seconds?
Eight shots, but he only makes 4 of them. He misses
he's not an
4
efficient scorer
from
at all.
point blank range.
Yeah.
He's missing shots from like half a foot away. It's absolutely astonishing. A few more picking nits, rapid fire. If somebody, in this case Barnes, told me that if you were wearing a white uniform, people might shoot at you and try to kill you, I would take off my white hat. It's just a thought. I would not continue to drive around with the white hat on top of my brain. It's fine. I guess they're often around other people who are in JAG or the Marines or the Navy, but it does seem like they're very routinely shouting deeply sensitive case information at each other in public places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The bar, the basketball court, hallways, softball fields, the bleachers where Joe stands with her back to the people taking batting practice, another deeply confounding thing in the movie that I don't understand at all.
Ever heard of a code red? What a pity.
Oh,
the
man.
softball field, Joe.
This kind of goes to my, does anybody give a shit about this case? Like, we're all the guys on that softball team like, Kathy, what the fuck are you working on? Sherby needs some glove work, man. Come on.
I need you to tell me to look the ball into my glove.
Yeah.
Do you guys think it takes our guy Danny too long to notice that Markinson is just sitting in the backseat of his car? He's not like leaning over. He's not hunched down. He's just like a 6-foot-something guy standing up in a trench coat.
Cruise is the best at reacting to that, though. Like, he really fully commits to, there's a guy in my backseat.
Yeah.
Like, he would have been great in a horror movie.
That seems like something that has happened to Tom Cruise before.
Yeah.
Like, he's never drank before, but maybe a guy shows up in the backseat of his car every once in a while.
But maybe he's done it to someone,
Yeah, exactly.
so
Yeah.
he knows what kind of reaction
Yeah.
one gets. I gotta say, Mal, hearing you talk about crabs is the most disgusting thing I've ever heard in my life.
Thank you.
That was grotesque.
Sequel, prequel, prestige TV, all black cast, or untouchable. To me, this is an untouchable. I'd be mad if they were
Wrong.
this. What is it?
It's fucking prequel, prestige TV, young Markinson and Jessup. Vietnam War, coming up through the ranks, and if that was a problem for you, I don't give a shit. And it's just like their rise through the Marine Corps.
What streamer?
Fantastic.
What streamer? Make a bid, man. What streamers are
Yeah,
left?
MGM Plus.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Crackle? Let's fucking
Paramount?
dial it up.
That's also wrong. It's all black cast, but with a white Dawson and a white judge.
Do you nominate yourself as the white judge?
I do.
And you'll be telling Michael B. Jordan, like, tread carefully now.
The colonel shall refer to me as your honor or judge. I believe I've earned it.
Yeah.
Just one Oscar. Who gets it? Nicholson?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorkin?
Not to Roger Ebert.
But then it's like, does Bill Goldman in the back? It's like, hey, best part was me.
Is this movie better with Wayne Jenkins, Danny Trejo, Catherine Hahn, Steve Buscemi, Sam Jackson, J.T. Walsh, who's in the movie, or Philip Baker Hall?
Probably Catherine Hahn, right? That's it, right? Goddamn, Kathy! I didn't know I had super litigator. That guy was gonna hang me from a fucking yard arm. All over an Italian culinary herb, man. I was gonna go away a long fucking time, big boy. Let's have a yoo-hoo and call it a day.
There's at least a couple people here who don't know our podcast who have no fucking idea what just happened.
That'd be weird if they came to the show.
Yeah, I guess.
Every time you do that, I feel like Benny Safdie and Oppenheimer.
Probably unanswerable questions. Are we sure Markinson killed himself? I was on the
good
Reddit
question.
conspiracy board the other day. They were saying they never found the body.
Oh,
Parkinson's a ghost.
interesting.
Did Markinson only kill himself because of Santiago's death, or was there some other stuff going on?
Like he had buried some other things.
Yeah, or was
How did he
was
get
just
a gun in the hotel room? He's being guarded. He has all his uniform.
Part of his,
He's on the
his
lam?
dress suit. Yeah.
Maybe he did it because he thought Seinfeld was going to get canceled.
I like that theory, though, that maybe he faked his death because he does repeatedly say, like, you're not seriously going to put me on the stand, are you?
And also, he
doesn't
does
wanna do it.
counterintelligence.
Yeah,
know that that's one of
exactly.
his
Yeah.
his
What did you think of
areas.
Markinson's dinner of Chinese food and Budweiser heavy?
I think, given, again, the region, it should have been a natty bow.
Yeah.
But on the Markinson front, why don't they submit his, not to be too grim, but, like, why don't they submit his suicide note as evidence?
It feels like it should have been part of the case.
There are
Yeah.
a lot of
Also,
questions
it's like,
about.
are we sure he killed himself? Or
That's
did
great.
somebody go in
And then
there?
Danny's like, no, I'm going to go with the code red thing. I think I got it.
Wait, who got the letter?
I guess it was
The family, Santiago's
They sent it to
family.
Santiago's family.
But do they actually?
Oh, they don't know.
right.
They
do
don't
they
know.
actually
They don't
like?
know.
They don't know there's a
Does he
court-martial
mail
going
it before?
No, Markinson must have like written the letter. We see the letter, and then presumably he sends the letter and kills himself.
How did he like dropped it in a mailbox?
This is the thing.
Yeah,
You
in
can't leave the room.
1991, you could just go down to the corner and put a
But
letter
he
in
couldn't
the
leave
mail.
the room. Raylan Givens and the
I think the
marshals
letter
were
was
out
next
front.
to him, and it was covered in blood, and they couldn't mail it. And unfortunately, they never got to read it. What state was Kendrick from?
Well,
Certainly down south.
Yeah.
yeah,
We were
Connecticut.
saying Alabama or Mississippi.
Alabama? Okay.
Yeah. Do you think Jonathan Kendrick was at the Capitol on January 6th?
I think he might have been.
Does Kendrick have
I think he was in the brig.
an
so.
like an SEC podcast, but it's on the War Room Network? You know, like
You think he's ever done a segment with Feinbaum?
he calls a lot.
Wait, if he's from Alabama in your headcanon here, is he Roll Tide or War Eagle?
I think he's an Auburn fan.
It's got major War Eagle energy.
Yeah.
Better face, the Caffey, should I keep going at Jessup face, or the Jack Ross, oh my God, he just admitted the code red
Is that a
face?
new category?
Just better blank face.
Jack Ross. It's an amazing reaction.
Tremendous. Yeah.
They have the guy next to Jack Ross who doesn't have any lines, and I'm not sure why he's there, but he's in the two-shot.
He's playing with his pencil the whole time.
They two-shot him over and over again. This is for Chris. What position did Caffey play in softball?
Shortstop. I think he assigned himself shortstop. He's like, I'll pitch, I'll play short, I'll bat fourth, no big deal.
Yeah.
I had the same instinct, and the rest of the team is pissed off about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, fucking Caffey keeps putting himself at shortstop.
Yeah.
He made two errors.
It's
in it.
either short or center, but he's spending so much time on ground ball defense that I think it's
Yeah.
got to
It's
be
gotta be
middle
infield,
infield.
yeah.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have the cannon for the hot corner, right?
No, he's no Gunnar Henderson.
Yeah.
Can you really make a flight log disappear? Can it just disappear?
In the 90s, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have the FAA here with us tonight. So.
What other unanswerables do you have?
What other what?
Unanswerables.
Oh,
Anything?
I do want to know what Jessup's punishment would have been. Like, would he have gone to prison? Would he have been stripped of rank and discharged?
Like a dishonorable discharge?
Yes.
Do you think he had to go make porn? Is that what you're saying?
Colonel Jessup, you have been sentenced to several porn films.
Yeah. With
Quite certain I've earned it.
With a lady president, you know?
I don't think-
MPs guard the colonel.
I don't think he serves any time.
I have 11. I think I'll cut down my list of unanswerable questions, but I have a bunch.
Give us your best three.
Okay. Well, boy, best three. Do you think that Jessup has, in fact, ever ripped the eyes out of someone's head and pissed in their dead skull? Because
That would be in my Prestige TV
it's
prequel.
such a specific threat. It's so specific.
What else? Good start.
How many DUIs do you guys think Kaffee ends up with?
Yeah.
How many does he rack up?
You're really thinking about this.
I mean, yeah, we're in the multiples. Without,
I think you
without
can
a doubt.
blame-
Early 90s, it was a little looser back then.
Yeah.
At least 2.
I have a lot about the case and the strategy. Like, is it actually better to have people think 2 Marines killed another than to just blame the doctor? But the one I'll go with for case logic is, why don't Kaffee, Joe, and Sam call the one witness who could have instantly sealed it to the stand? Tom, Jessup's clerk, the door guy who is there and hears every crucial conversation that he has.
That's a really good
He's
point.
like, Tom opens the door immediately. He's hearing every single thing that is transpiring in that room. He's always there when people are coming and going, including them when they're down in Gitmo. They see him. They never think, let me bring to the witness stand the guy who hears everything Jessup says.
Could have gotten us one more Josh Molina scene, too.
Yeah. Bill, I would like you to adopt more tell the president we're relinquishing our position in Cuba type behavior. Like, just call Jeff
walk
Chow
it
and be
back.
like, Jeff, let's sell the company to Barstool. No, I believe we can wait on that one.
I had, what happens if Jessup just never admits the code red? What happens to everybody?
I think Danny Kaffee gets
Court-martial.
disbarred. Yeah.
Yeah. Though that might
What
be
else do you think
better.
could happen?
Maybe he doesn't get court-martialed.
Kaffee? You think Jack's just like, it's okay?
Ample warning. Yeah.
Right, he goes 3 for 4 with 2 doubles the next
Yeah,
day.
if they need him for the semifinals on Thursday.
Is the court-martial outcome worse than the one that probably happened, which is that Kendrick hired somebody to kill him without a doubt? Like, without question? Puts out a hit on Kaffee?
What's your best double feature choice for this movie? Mine is American President.
Oh.
A double Sorkin it. It's
In
a little
honor of
happier.
Dobbins.
It's a happier ending.
That's
Dobbins
a
is
hashtag
happy.
Dobb Mob pick. Yeah. Love it.
Movie is super mid.
What do you have, Sean? Oppenheimer?
Do you want nerdy double features?
Yeah. Go super nerd on us.
Paths of Glory, Stanley Kubrick's incredible courtroom drama.
He didn't make it. You don't have to applaud him. It's
Yes.
just-
I'm proud to have written the source material that 1957 film is based on. And I think the Kane Mutiny is probably the best one. That's probably the best military courtroom movie that's ever made.
Bin Laden episode in Newsroom.
What do you have, Mal?
I think I would either do a Tom Cruise double feature, so I would do Top Gun and this movie, just 2 of my all-time faves. Or if I was feeling more inclined for a legal drama double feature, I would do this and Presumed Innocent, which we're all just waiting, though.
Yeah.
Come on. The only movie
Greta.
that features an actually explicit Harrison Ford sex scene.
Is that true?
It's a very short list, yeah. There's a lot of movies where people say they want to have sex with him, but very few where we get to see him pull his pants down and fuck someone
Presumed
over a
Innocent.
desk. Yeah.
Force Awakens.
That's not how the Force works. Yeah.
Witness?
Oh, come on. No, he watches her take the sponge bath in Witness, and they dance.
I
to
blacked
Sammy
out for a
Coe.
second. Are we
Builds a
talking about
house.
Harrison Ford fucking now? Like,
Sure,
yeah,
anytime you want. Yeah.
This is Sierra's getting uncomfortable and Sean's getting super uncomfortable. This is just like every Monday Ringer meeting when Mal starts cooking about 2 hours in.
What is your double feature?
American President.
American President.
The Indian Red Zwane Award. We're almost done. What happened the next day?
They want to be here. It's okay.
Do Kaffee and Joe, what happened? Let's walk through the next 6 weeks with them. Do they run into each other like a little victory dinner? Does she propose? I feel like she proposes.
She
We should go
shows
out and
up
get some crabs.
with steak knives, right? Keeps
it's a
going
steak
with the
knife.
steak
that's
knife
great.
bit.
Good.
steak knives and a steak. And she's like, let's cook this thing. And he's
And-
like, I'm watching the O's.
It's like,
There's 60
I'm
and
drinking
90.
Yoo-hoo. Yeah.
She shows up. Kathy is making furious love to Sherby. She's like, oh, okay.
What piece of memorabilia would you want from this
This is
movie?
so easy.
Well, I know. Can I guess yours?
Yeah.
Jack Ross's Georgetown
You
Supreme Court
fucking know
tank
me
top?
so well. The Supreme Court tank top. I was looking at it on eBay yesterday.
Incredible.
Wait, game worn?
Game worn bacon.
Yeah, Kevin Bacon's pure sweat
Yeah.
soaked into it. No.
Is it not Kathy's bat?
It
have the
is
bat.
Kathy's bat.
It's the Tom Cruise varsity jacket's also pretty chill. Would you get the car or is it too much of a beater?
I like the bat. What's funny is
Has to
since
be
we
the bat.
started doing this category, all of a sudden these Hollywood auctions have started, and you can actually get all the things from all these movies now. The Shawshank Bible went for, I think, $400,000.
How much are the sheets from Basic Instinct? Game worn.
What if I just bought Jessup's dress uniform and just sat quietly in my house and did the speech alone? Would that be weird?
The markets, it would probably be weirder.
Yeah.
The Coach Finstock Award for Best Life Lesson. I think it's you don't have to have a patch on your arm to have honor.
Okay.
You love that moment. You're
Eddie,
such
what
a
do you have
sap.
now?
I mean, Unit Core, God Rewatchables, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Who won the movie?
Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
Go ahead and zag.
And
Come
Ginny?
on.
And Ginny.
Uncle
Sherby.
Goober?
It's got to be Tom Cruise.
Unanimous? Bill?
Yeah.
Way to go.
Audience? I forgot to ask this in probably unanswerable questions. Chris had a theory backstage that Tom Cruise is being carefully shielded when he gives interviews now. Can you go on this?
I just, I do wonder whether he has really horrendous CTE. And it just doesn't seem like he's talked in a movie for more than 2 sentences. If you go back through the last 5 years, since Edge of Tomorrow is the last movie where he is like a guy who's not just running, like he actually was supposed to be a PR person. He talks in that movie. But ever since Macquarie Mission Impossibles and Top Gun, which I think really did him in, he's just like, movies! Every time.
He's like-
you were talking about his red
He's like
carpet thing.
Brick Tamlin.
Yeah.
in
Watch
Anchorman.
the red carpet interviews from Dead Reckoning where someone asks him a question and he like pulls his body way back and starts looking up at the sky like the sun is too bright or something. And he
Well,
can't
tell
answer
them the
questions.
question.
The question is like, what are you going to see first? Oppenheimer or Barbie? And he's like, well, you'll go to the movie theater and you'll go into a movie. You'll go from one theater to the other. And he doesn't answer the question,
Yeah.
and it's the easiest question of all time.
So CR's theory is that Cruise has done too many stunts.
Yeah, I just don't
And
think
then
a
was
man of
flying
his
the
age is
MiGs.
supposed to be in an F-16
Yeah,
at
'cause
all.
He's
And
late
like
50s, early 60s.
his
now.
head got slammed against the seat like so many. I'm not happy about it, but when you watch him in A Few Good Men, he's like just dropping like 5 pages of dialogue like without blinking, and
Well,
then
he
you
used
see
to
him
be
in
one of the
Mission
great
Impossible.
talk show guests.
Yeah.
So he'd come in, super charismatic. Yeah, you're right. He's like carefully
And now
shielded
he's like
now.
propped up to do an AMC like welcome to the movies thing where he's like, thank you for seeing this on a big screen. And that's all he can handle.
If he did A Few Good Men 30th anniversary interview, it would just be like, oh, trial. Oh, Nicholson.
He's now older than Nicholson was when he made this movie.
Oh, Jesus.
Which only makes Dead Reckoning more nuts when you think about it. Can you imagine Jack Nicholson riding a motorcycle off a cliff? He'd probably be like, that's Friday night, man. Yeah.
I think that's it. I think we've wrapped it up. A few more good men or a refew good men, whatever we decide on this. It was really fun to do this. The last time we did a live podcast was at Sundance in 2020, about 6 weeks before the pandemic. And we did Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And a day later, Sean got super sick and was sick for 8 days and was like, I've never been this sick before. We still don't know what happened. I think we have an idea, though.
And then we did Contagion.
Yeah.
And then we...
Yeah, my apologies to America.
But we were like, man, that was fun. We were going to do more of these. And now it's I don't know, 3.5 years later. But we're going to be doing a lot more live pods for the big picture, the watch, the Ringerverse. And this is really fun. Thanks to Elizabeth Fearman for setting everything up for us. And thanks to everybody for coming out. This was a true pleasure. Thank you.